KFAN, Minnesota's home for basketball.
The Power Hour is live for now at KFAN.com/watch. It's powered by Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed.
Oh, that's right.
Assuming pipes don't burst.
Yeah, what's going on out there?
What's
happening? Because Sauce just said a pipe is about to burst in the break room?
I don't know. It's gargling in there.
It stinks.
What kind of a pipe?
Like the pipe under the sink, the drain pipe.
Mm-hmm.
It stinks in there, right, Zach?
Oh, it's terrible.
It's like I've never heard a pipe make gurgling sounds.
Did you inform somebody?
Who would I inform?
I
don't
talked
know.
to Emily.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Good.
She
Well, that's all you can do.
didn't seem to care much.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
She didn't seem to
That's all you
care.
can do.
Someone else's problem.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, well, make the building worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, our guest, Craig Gass, out here at the Cinema Grill in New Hope. Love that place.
Mm-hmm. Me
Saucy,
too.
you've done comedy there,
I
haven't
have,
you?
yeah. It's a great spot
It's a
to
great
do
spot.
comedy, yeah.
Craig, you still working with Howard Stern?
Yep. Been back with him for, a year and a half, 2 years now. And a couple months ago, he finally gave me some recognition on the air and brought me on. Because usually he just has me sit in the background doing voices.
Yeah, right.
And now he not only had me on for a while, but they've been setting me up with some pre-interviews to when we get back from vacation to have me on as myself more often. So.
And is he at the studio anymore? Is he not? He's not even in the studio anymore, is he?
Oh, he hasn't been in the studio for like 4 years.
Hasn't been that long, yeah.
Yeah, but there's been a couple of cool things that have been happening with him this year, including when Pearl Jam came in. Mike gave me a shout out at the end of the interview, and then Howard goes, he goes, "Yeah, Craig tried to tell me he knows you guys. He always says he knows people, but I don't believe him." And I was like, "What a dick! Like I can't believe, like it's crazy." But yeah, he's been really great to me. And for those of you just joining the broadcast, I've been telling incredibly sad stories. Just digging a hole. Let's see how I can turn this around and get myself out of this. This is what stand-up comedy's about.
I do want to. It's sad, but I know that there's more to it. Isn't there? You were Mitch Hedberg's roommate.
Yeah.
And aren't they doing a documentary about him? Is that a secret? Or is that a public thing?
It's starting to come out in trade magazines that they're doing the documentary, and I'm doing my interview in a month. Mitch was my first roommate in New York. And they're doing an incredible, I mean, the amount of people that are getting into this, like David Tell and Louis Black, all these amazing comedians are participating in this. And Mitch and I, we lived together when I moved in April in 1998. And my first day in the apartment, I'm going to have the whole apartment to myself for the whole weekend because Mitch is leaving to do a weekend at the Poconos. And he was trying to tell me where everything is at. He's giving me all these keys, like, this is the key for this door, this is the key for this door. And I'm trying to get my bearings straight when Mitch goes, "Oh, hey, Craig, this is a map of the New York City subway." And on the back of his front door was this giant map of the New York City subway, which has like blue and red and green lines going in every direction. And I was trying to figure it out when he goes, "So that's how that works." And then he walked away. I was like, "What the hell? That doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about?" Good luck. Did you guys ever have Mitch on? Did you
Never
guys?
did. No, we missed it.
I got to see him live a handful of times, but never had him on. No.
First,
Did he die in what year did he die?
I can tell you exactly when he died because I've been sober for 19 years. And, oh, man.
Yeah, congrats, man.
Awesome. That's awesome, man.
No, I'm just the first year that I got clean.
05.
It was 05. The first year that I got clean, 7 of my friends died. Like all comedians, 4 drug overdoses, 3 drinking and driving car accidents. And Mitch was the first one, March 30th of 2005. It was either March 30th or March 31st. The news didn't break. It didn't get out until April 1st, and people didn't believe it because they thought it was an April Fool's joke.
Oh, wow.
It was
Oh, man.
Yeah. And, but he was an incredibly, dude, the first night I ever met Mitch was, I was opening for him. I had heard so much about him. And I say, "Hey, Mitch, I'm Craig Gass. I'm your opening act." And he's like, "Oh, hell yeah. This is going to be a lot of fun." And then I go up and I do my high energy, like, "What's up? I'm Craig." And I get off stage. I go, "Please welcome Mitch Hedberg." And then Mitch comes up, and it's a sold-out show. And Mitch gets up and he goes, "All right. Well, where's where's Thomas? Thomas, where are you? And a guy in the back of the room goes, there's no seats, man. I can't find some place to sit. And he goes, well, just, hey, make somebody clear a seat for Thomas. Or, no, you know what, Thomas? I got a stool on stage. You can sit on the stool. And then from the back of the room, totally quiet audience, kind of like for the first 30 minutes that I was here. Totally quiet audience. And you hear this guy working his way through the room going, excuse me, sorry. And this guy's working his way through the crowd. He gets him on stage and turns around, and everyone just started laughing because nobody knew who this guy Thomas was. But it was very obvious that he was very high. And he sat down, and Mitch goes, all right, my name's Mitch, and these are my jokes. And he goes, back then, Mitch would, before he was famous, he either would bomb for a really uncomfortable hour because people were like, what is this? Or after about 5-10 minutes, people would get the rhythm, and he would just slowly start destroying. And he goes, he tells his first joke, and it takes a beat, and the audience gets it. They start laughing. Mitch starts going into his next joke when Thomas finally realized what the point of the first joke was. And Thomas starts laughing, which made Mitch go, ha ha, hell yeah. And then he started laughing. And then the crowd laughed again. And then, which made Mitch and Thomas laugh, and the crowd laughed again. And the rest of the night, every joke had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 waves of laughter. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. He probably did about 20 minutes worth of material in an hour.
Wow.
But there was so much giggling that it just turned into this beautiful night of just incredibly light, positive energy.
I thought you were going to say that Thomas was a plant. Like maybe the audience thought maybe he was part of the...
No, that guy sold some cocaine. That dude was...
Oh, man.
That guy
He sat on the stool the entire show.
Sat on the stool the entire show, uncomfortably looking at the ground. He wouldn't make eye contact with anybody. He just... Yeah.
Jeez.
Dude, those are the shows, man. It's like those weird nights when things don't like go the way it's supposed to, and you learn as a comedian like how to navigate. You always got to figure out, how do I follow someone who bombs? And then how do I follow somebody like Dave Chappelle who just wants to show up and do a set? I did a show where like my set was at 11:30 and I showed up at 11. Chris Rock's in the room.
Oh no!
And the manager of the club walks up and he goes, Craig. He goes, Chris Rock is, and I go, yeah, dude, this is awesome. And he goes, he might do 15. He might do an hour. We're not sure. But he knows as soon as he's done, he's going to say, that's it for me. Please welcome Craig Gass. And I went, oh, that's the worst intro I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. That's the worst ending of a Chris Rock show ever. That's like walking into a tiny rock bar and then hearing the band go, ladies and gentlemen, we have some special guests that want to join us on stage. Please welcome the Rolling Stones. What the? And Mick Jagger comes out and he's doing Start Me Up. Keith Richards doing heroin right in front of you, and you're like, oh my God. And then Mick Jagger goes, you want some more? Yeah, please welcome Corey Feldman. No.
Dude, Feldman's everywhere lately.
Yeah, I'm the Corey Feldman of the story, man. It's like, I can't follow that. So that is rough. I told you about the greatest bomb that I've ever seen was Dane Cook, right?
Oh no!
I never told you that?
I don't think so, no.
Well, there's awkward... Okay.
Again, Craig Gass is our guest.
Hey, I'm at...
Cinema Grill. CinemaGrill.com in New Hope. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There you go. Tickets, cinemagrill.com.
CinemaGrill.com. Whenever a comedian is not doing well, you'll always hear one or two people in the back laughing. That's always other comedians. Like, I did a show once where it was in Oklahoma City. The guy who was opening for me, he's on stage, and he just kept looking on the left side of the something on the left side of the stage was distracting him. And then finally at some point he goes, yeah, ma'am, am I that ugly you won't even look me in the face? Like, she won't even look me in the face. Like, what are you, freaking blind or something? Oh, are you blind? Oh,
my God.
The whole crowd just froze. And this dude made the biggest rookie mistake he could possibly make. He tried to go back into his act and he went, you guys ever you ever go to Walmart? And the whole crowd was like, who cares about Walmart? You just made fun of a blind woman, you son of a bitch. People are screaming at him. Nobody's laughing except for me and one other comedian in the back of the room. We're just fist bumping like, oh, this is great. But the thing about Dane's set that he did one night was even Dane was like, geez, how do I even... Dane Cook is on stage. We all used to work at a club in New York called the Boston Comedy Club. That's where a lot of us started in New York. It was in New York, but the owner, Barry Katz, was from Boston. So it's called the Boston Comedy Club, but it's in Greenwich Village. And Dane Cook's on stage one night. It's a Tuesday night. It's 1:30 in the morning. And Dane is performing for 6 people. One of the 6 people has all of his groceries on the table with him watching the show. Because we used to have a barker, Bert Kreischer was our barker.
No kidding.
Bert's a very famous comedian now. Bert used to work the door at this comedy club, and he would stand in front of the club and bark at people and go, hey, comedy show, you want to see a comedy show? And somebody walked by and said, I got my groceries. He goes, give me the groceries. I don't care. It's okay. No, it's no cover. Give me the groceries. I'll help you with the groceries. And he brought this guy in with his groceries, and Dane Cook goes, are those groceries? And the guy goes, yeah, and it's ice cream. Like he pinned that on Dane like it was his fault that his ice cream was melting. So Dane tries to muscle through a really rough set because it's so late that these 6 people are exhausted. When one of the 6 audience members who is hammered gets up, starts stumbling over to the restroom, closes the door, and starts violently vomiting in the bathroom to where the other 5 people are looking over going, what? Because every 20 seconds you keep hearing, then there's a long pause, and they all hear, and the guy comes back out, and he's stumbling back to his seat, and Dane Cook goes, are you okay? Are you feeling okay? Are you doing all right? And the guy goes, well, no, I had some bad comedy. Everybody's high-fiving. The guy with the groceries is throwing his ice cream in the air. So you learn over time how to overcome moments like that. But even that, like Dane was proud of that. It was like when the audience member just owns you like that, it's like, it's you can't deny that. And that's the great thing about stand-up. So I told Hockey that I have a story. It's a little bit of a longer story that I have to tell you about a prank that's being played on Adam Levine right now for Maroon 5. By the way, I'm a comedian. I'm usually funny. I just feel like after that first half hour, no one would make eye contact with me in the studio during that first half hour. But
you know what? We'll do that in the next segment. We got to do Fan 5 Sports real quick.
No problem.
And so
New Hope Cinemas.
New Hope Cinemas, cinemagirl.com.
Brought to you by Builders and Remodelers.
Hey, thanks to Builders and Remodelers.
And, if anybody over there wants to, Gene Simmons or Sam Kinison wants to jump in on a sports story, feel free. Go ahead.
All right.
I was watching. I know we're going to do Fan 5. I was watching the segment that I had never known. I didn't know who Sam Kinison was. I remember watching it back in 1984, 85, and he was doing a bit about the desert.
Oh, yeah.
And I went, who's this guy? He's very calm. And all of a sudden, he goes into a Sam Kinison bit. And I remember literally falling off my couch in laughter. It was the funniest human being
I've ever...
You live in the
desert, that bit, you mean?
There's no food in the desert!
Right.
Dude, Bob Costas, of all people, pointed out that he used to watch Sam Kinison before he was famous. And he had a conversation with Sam about this on his TV show. And he said, back then, your entire act was based on that day's obituaries. And Sam explained the bit. Sam goes, yeah, I used to walk on stage with today's obituaries. And he'd go on stage and go, hey, folks.
Oh, my God.
My name's Sam Kinison. I want to thank you guys for coming out. Thanks for supporting stand-up comedy. I'll tell you a couple people you won't be seeing here tonight. And he would start reading the names of people who just died. And you go, Esther Goldberg? No, she didn't catch the bus. She's not here.
Oh my God, that's great.
But apparently, if you want to see her work, it's going to be on display on Sunday at Evergreen Mortuary. Oh. Yeah, it was dark.
That's brilliant, though.
Yeah, that's super
It is.
funny.
It's brilliant. It's crazy.
Did you ever get to meet him at all?
I have a video of me when I was 17 years old with him on my Instagram right now that I had long hair.
Yeah, dude, he showed me a picture of him at a birthday party with Guns N' Roses when they were Appetite for Destruction Guns N' Roses.
The video. Oh yeah, there's the Guns N' Roses picture. That's
Look
when
at
I had
that.
long hair.
Look at your hair, man. Beautiful.
There is.
Beautiful.
But yes, I knew Sam as a kid. I partied with him when I was a kid. There it is.
Can't even imagine.
My God, you partied with him when you were a kid.
Yeah, and that's how I have the video that I have of me with Sam. I think I'm 17 years old. Let's see what the date is. If you go to my Instagram and scroll down to the post on, it looks like February 8th of last year. You can see this video. And it's very obscene.
That's you?
That's me with long hair.
Wow. Look at that hair, Rosie.
Yeah.
Luxurious.
Sam. Classic Sam.
That guy, man. That guy. That's.
I like the Cubs hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very obscene video. But yes, I knew Sam before I ever started doing stand-up. And his best friend, Carl LeBeau, was a buddy of mine as well. And but yeah, that guy, incredible backstory. Am I stepping all over this segment?
Yeah,
No, not really.
Okay. About it.
There's not much going on in sports.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
It's a slow time of year.
I told you about that. We don't care much about sports.
I love that. That's amazing.
Football's our thing.
But yeah, it's I've worked with everybody, almost everybody. There's very few I haven't worked with, and but with Sam, I just knew him as a kid before I ever got into stand-up comedy, and yeah, he was brilliant. He had a bit that people would always compare him to Dice, and I always thought they were just such different comics. I thought Sam was so brilliant. He had a bit that somebody played for me once before he was famous. It was about Hitler. He said, "Oh no, it was about Nostradamus." But there was
different.
Well, there's the Hitler tie. There's the Hitler tie because he goes, folks, I'm very fascinated by this Nostradamus story. Because here's a guy who during his time was able to predict major world wars and even predicted the rise of Hitler and even almost named the guy, which if you know anything about the work of Nostradamus, he predicted around the same time frame that there was going to be a guy that comes out of the East. The great Hister will cause more bloodshed than anyone before him. And Kinnison said, hey, I'm reading that. It's very fascinating. And I said, well, wait a second. Wait a second. What if Hister hasn't shown up yet? What if this is the guy that's going to make Hitler look like a wussy? Oh! Yeah, it was dark. Dark. Yeah, that show... The show that I'm doing is all, when you come out to New Hope, it's all impressions and stories about the people I do impressions of. Tonight and tomorrow, I'm doing a couple of special shows because I'm releasing 2 comedy specials this year. The first comedy special, no kidding, is me just making fun of the band Kiss for an hour. That's the whole show.
And that's tonight?
Tonight and tomorrow will just be me making fun of Kiss for most of the show.
I've got to go. That's my favorite, man.
Cinemagrill.com. The comedy special that I did, making fun of Kiss, Sebastian Bach makes up about 20% of the because he's in the there's a bunch of musicians in the audience, and Sebastian Bach will not stop talking during the show. And that guy actually gave me one of the best Kiss stories I've ever heard. Sebastian Bach put me in his music video. What Do I Got to Lose, which already has 1 million views right now. It's a huge song. And Sebastian told me about Gene Simmons. He said, dude, I went to that guy's house. I went to Gene Simmons' house.
Dude, I can't, that sounds just like him.
Yeah.
And that guy has like a Kiss museum in his house, which is true. Gene Simmons has an entire wing of his house that's dedicated to every piece of Kiss merchandise that's ever existed. He goes, dude, I walk in. There's a bag with like 100 Kiss cell phone covers. And I said, dude, what the hell is that? And Gene Simmons goes, that's our new promotion for Kissmas.
That's our new Kiss cell phone covers. Can I have one of those? I wish I could, but if you go to kissonline.com, you can. You wouldn't give him a single piece of plastic. It was just one piece of plastic, and he wouldn't give it to him. Yeah.
We got to get to the Adam Levine story as well, right? The prank. Yeah. Let's do. We'll do headlines when we come back with Craig Gass, and we can kick headlines off with the Adam Levine prank. You can see Craig at New Hope Cinema Grill all week between tonight all the way through Saturday.
Yes.
New Hope Cinema Grill. More of the Power Trip Morning Show after this on The Fan.
iHeart Podcast Update. This week on your free iHeartRadio app. Wake and Jake. Talking Jake is back.
Internet that's everything you imagine, and then some. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Sign up today and get internet with a price for life. Keep your internet service monthly rate for as long as you keep your plan. Internet service monthly rate subject to continued plan availability.
Large inventory and one low price. They're now bringing everything that sets them apart to White Bear Lake on the corner of County Road E and 61. Apple Autos. Come see why it's different here.
Is your pressure washer weak or leaking? Not hot enough? Overdue on maintenance? Are you ready to trade it in? You need American Pressure.
Yes, Dan, we have service at our location or yours to get your machine running safely and at peak performance. Or we'll supply you a new pressure washer when you're ready.
American Pressure stocks tons of options, and you won't be disappointed if you call them. Ben, how do they reach you?
Simple. Call us at 763-521-4442. Visit AmericanPressure.com or see us in Robbinsdale.
Free waterproofing and foundation repair estimates from Standard Water Control. Standard Water is the Midwest's expert for waterproofing and foundation repair since 1977. Standard Water fixes all wet and humid basement issues. Free estimates. Visit standardwater.com. Standardwater.com.
From the convenience stores in Cloquet to the supermarkets in St. Cloud, the Minnesota Lottery's Viking Scratch Game is here. These are the concrete coliseums where we'll challenge chance and chase glory, where we'll gamely scratch and fearlessly scrape in pursuit of up to $100,000 in cash prizes. These are the stadiums where we come to play. Get in the game. Minnesota Lottery. I'm in. Must be 18 or older to play.
Hey, it's Corey Cove. Over a decade ago, I got LASIK. Dr. David Whiting changed my life. LASIK changed my life. So I've had over a decade of summers, not for 1 second have I had to worry about a contact. Wouldn't it be nice to not worry about contacts, not worry about glasses? How about all you students going back to school soon? Wouldn't it be nice to have new energy and new focus without glasses or contacts? Well, you can do that with OVO LASIK and Lens. Dr. Mark Lobanoff and Dr. David Whiting are changing lives across the Twin Cities. If you are struggling with glasses, contacts, reading glasses, or reading glasses on top of contacts, on top of sunglasses and all that, you know who you are, then call OVO LASIK and Lens for a free consultation to find out if LASIK is right for you. Only OVO LASIK and Lens has the Twin Cities best price guarantee. And for a limited time, you're also going to get $500 off your LASIK procedure, plus 24 months interest-free financing. And students and teachers with a valid ID can both save an extra $200. Make this summer count and make every summer count, and start living with clear, hassle-free vision from OVO LASIK and Lens. OVOeye.com, OVOEYE.com, or call 877-OVO-EYES for OVO LASIK and Lens.
You have a plan for your business and a vision for its future. So it's important to have a banking partner that works to understand all of your goals and what it will take to help you reach them. Work with a banker who is dedicated to listening first and providing insightful, personalized advice that's right for you and your business. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
Back to school season is here, and you can get more for your lunch money at Cub. Find great deals on everything you need to ace the year. Snack your way to A's with jumbo red grapes for $1.77 a pound. Pepperidge Farms goldfish, only $1.99 each when you buy 3. And Chobani yogurt, 10 for $10 with MyCub Rewards. Not a rewards member? Sign up to start earning fuel rewards and exclusive savings at checkout. See store for details.
Hey, it's Chris Hockey here. Summer, the best season of the year, in my opinion. I get to play all these awesome music festivals all over the country, and I'm logging some serious miles on my Harley. And whenever I do have a weekend off, I'm grilling and chilling with my family and friends. It's the best. And I'll admit, the beers and cocktails flow pretty easy this time of year. But one thing you won't see me do, jump on my motorcycle after drinking. So do me a favor. Do everyone you know a favor. Always remember this. You booze, you cruise, you lose. Ride sober, ride smart. A message from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
Get 15% off right now with Sauce15 at chillboys.com, the most comfortable underwear in the world.
From the 651 Carpets Plus, home of the Next Day Install Studios, this is the Power Trip on FM 100.3 KFAN, The Fan.
There you go. Welcome back. Final segment of the Power Trip Morning Show. KFAN.com/watch. Corey Cove's over there. I don't know where Craig and Rosie went.
Craig went to get some water.
Roser's over there. Hi, Roser. Roser. Mark Parrish is back here with me.
Rosie. Oh, man.
Roser.
I'm loving this.
Oh.
And there's Craig Gass. Gass with 2 S's, by the way. And make sure you go see him tonight through Saturday. 2 shows Friday and Saturday, by the way. 1 show tonight and tomorrow. You can get your tickets at cinemagrill.com. New Hope Cinema Grill.
Duh.
Love that place. Tickets only $15, man. To see him do Kiss stories for an hour? Are you kidding me?
That's less than a bucket of cheese curds at the state fair.
Yeah, come on.
Well, to be fair, it's $15 for tonight, and then it's $5 more for the weekend. So,
there you go.
But yeah, it's. I
a
was in your break room, and somebody who works here said, "I've been listening to you," and I go, "Oh, thanks." And she goes, "You made me cry all the way to work," and I went, "This is not working."
Not the intent.
I'm not gonna sell any tickets to a comedy show by making people cry. All right, Chris.
Yes.
Can I tell the story?
I'd love it, man.
All right, listen, people. You may have heard the first part of the story. There is a prank being played on Adam Levine from Maroon 5 right now in real time while he's on tour. The prank was inspired by a story that I've told on your show a couple years ago. It's a story about a famous heavy metal band that I'm not supposed to say who they are. I'll just say that they are one of the biggest hard rock bands of all time from the early days of MTV. If you were to name the top 5 hard rock bands that were on MTV all the time, there's no question this is one of the top 5 bands. And their singer told me a story about how they were doing a tour of Europe, a festival tour. The headliner was AC/DC. Again, I've told the story before, but this is the background to the story. The singer of AC/DC comes into the band's dressing room to say hello. The band is naked. They're getting ready to go on stage. They're getting ready to put on their rock clothes. Mm-hmm. And the singer of AC/DC apparently is an incredibly warm guy, very social. So he's working the room from the inside of the dressing room. He's saying hi to everybody and making eye contact. And at some point, he looks over the drummer and he starts staring at the drummer. But before he finally walks over and goes, "Hey, man, did you know you've got a giant penis on your back, man?" And the drummer looks at him and goes, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Your tattoo, it's a big penis." And the drummer says, "It's a dragon. It's an angry dragon." He goes, "I know it's a dragon, but look, it looks like you have 2 things on the bottom and a big thing on top." And now the whole band is looking at the drummer going, "Whoa, dude, wait, hold on, wait, turn around. Hold on." And they're all taking pictures and they go, "Look, see how when you look at it, it's got 2 things on the bottom." And now he's looking at the tattoo for the first time going, "What the hell?" When his singer looks at him and goes, "Dude, I'm not trying to be like a jerk about this. I'm really looking at your tattoo for the first time, and I have to be honest. It does not look like your dragon is breathing fire. Oh. It's just shooting everywhere.
Oh, no.
It's bad." And then he thinks everybody's messing with him, and he goes, "Shut up, come on, it's time to go on stage. Let's go rock." But he knows what he saw. Mm-hmm. And he's on stage in front of 60,000 people just thinking about his back. And then he calls the tattoo shop the next day, which is located in Staten Island. And he goes, "Hey, you think it's funny? You put a big penis on me? Is that funny to you?" And this is what he hears from the tattoo shop. Yeah, look, we got a lot of complaints about that guy. Apparently he was putting penises on people. And we sat him down. We sat him down and said, "Hey, be honest. Just be honest. Are you putting penises on? What are you doing? Are you drawing penises?" And he said, "Can I make a phone call?" And we said, "Go ahead." And he fled. He Wow. My favorite part of the story.
The guy left ding-dongs all over the place. But listen, next time you come back, we'll cover it up, no charge, okay? I mean, that's a big penis. But we'll cover it up, no charge. The next day, he goes back to the next festival date, hasn't seen his bandmates in 48 hours. He walks in the dressing room. He can feel everybody's eyes on him. So when he walks in, he just goes, I got a big penis on me, okay? Everybody in the room is asking him questions. They're like, dude, I thought you were friends with that guy. He goes, I love that guy. He was my boy. I mean, he did a couple of my tattoos, but I thought we were boys. And someone who was paying attention said, a couple of your tattoos. And he goes, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, I thought he just did the dragon. No, he did the dragon, but he also did my Jesus on my. He did, and they all froze.
Oh no!
And he went, oh man. He undoes his belt, pulls his pants down. They start looking at the tattoo, and he goes. He's the first one to notice. The drummer goes, oh my God! Turns out he has a tattoo of Jesus, and Jesus is happy. Really,
he has an erection.
He's Jesus. Happy. Jesus is really. He has risen, is what I'm saying. And I tell that story on stage, and I've told it many times. A guy I know in the music industry who makes guitars for famous musicians calls me up and says, "I got this crazy story for you. I was asked to make a guitar for Adam Levine. Adam Levine loves stand-up comedy. We've talked about you, about your stand-up. And I sent him the guitar, and I put a bunch of inside jokes on it, and then I didn't hear from him for like 2 months. And I called his guitar tech, and I said, did you guys get that guitar? And the guitar tech said, yeah. Oh, my God, it's his favorite guitar. He plays it every night, man. And I said, did you look at the guitar? And he goes, yeah, it's got flowers. And he goes, those aren't flowers, dude. And this guy who makes the guitars was like, I'm going to send you these pictures. I just posted the pictures on my Instagram. It's pinned to the top of my Instagram page. If you look it's at Craig Gass Comedy. The first picture on the second post, the first post is Steve-O and Gene Simmons making fun of me. The second post is Adam Levine playing the guitar. This is the guitar that was made for him. You slide it over. The next picture is the design on the guitar. The next slide over.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Oh, my.
This guitar is covered in penises. And Adam Levine has no idea that this is the artwork. It's supposed to look like sunflowers. But even the bulb of the sunflower, it's really hairy. It's like, yeah, it's just covered in penises at Craig Gass Comedy. Craig Gass Comedy with 2 S's. And he is on tour right now playing this guitar, and he has no idea that this is this guitar is a joke guitar.
Oh my God!
And at this point, my buddy is just like, I don't want to bring it up now because now I'm going to look like a jerk for pointing it out because it's been too late. But yeah, that's happening right now.
That's brilliant.
Have you guys ever had a prank that was played for like on each? Like, do you guys? I know you guys bust each other's balls.
Oh yeah.
But is there anyone in this room that doesn't have a sense of humor if it goes too far? Like, is there anybody who has like a limit?
Not really.
No,
thank God, no. Because Rosie has been.
I've been the subject.
Yeah.
Many times.
It's too easy.
It's too much fun.
Really? So it's not even.
No, it's not. It's
nothing vicious. No.
Vicious
not
or
penis on his forehead.
No, not that way.
Yeah,
Just
he doesn't
more
play a penis
innocent.
guitar.
No.
That's a good point. How do we get Rosie
really angry,
tattooed,
and
just covered in penises?
No, not gonna happen.
How do we do that?
Not when I'm conscious.
Well, maybe that's
maybe
step
after
one.
you're gone. Then can I have the body? I guess is what I'm asking.
Whoa.
Dude, unrelated, but there's another story that I wanted to tell because Hockey sent me a video of him doing a great cover song where the drummer is a guy named Todd Suckerman. Yeah. And I told you I have a great story about Todd Suckerman. Todd played with Don Henley. As soon as I found out that Todd had played with Don Henley, I asked him if the story was true, and he said it's 100% true. A friend of mine told me this amazing story about Don Henley from the Eagles and this is a very much a hockey story. If you're a music fan, you'll appreciate this. But Don Henley apparently is a massive fan
of the Beach Boys. First album he ever got was Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. He finds out that Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys is going to do an art exhibit in Los Angeles, and Don Henley wants to go to the art exhibit, and he brings along his guitar tech, who becomes a witness to this exchange. Don Henley shows up, taps him on the shoulder, and goes, Brian, Don Henley, Eagles. And he said, Brian Wilson turned around and went, oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Hi, how are you? Because Brian's off.
Yeah, right.
He's very off. Yeah. And so it's an awkward conversation for a few minutes, and Don realizes this isn't going anywhere. So he goes, hey, Brian, do you mind? This is the first album I ever purchased. Do you mind autograph? And he goes, yeah, sure. You got a pen? And he grabs the album, grabs the Sharpie, looks at Don Henley, and then looks at the album and writes, to Don, and then looks back at Don Henley. And he wrote, thank you for all the great music. And then he slowed down and he looked at Don Henley. And he looked down and he scratched off the word great and wrote good.
Oh, my gosh.
And then he signed his name on the bottom of it.
My God.
Yes.
Genius.
Scratched off the word. You know, you're not, I mean, you're good. You're not a Beach Boy. You're good. I mean, you know, you're not great. You're not great. Yeah.
Oh, my.
I asked Todd about that, and Todd said, oh, not only is it true, he has it framed, and it's in the entrance to his house when you walk in.
Oh, I bet. That's hysterical.
That's the best story.
That's fantastic.
That's really great.
The editing job, I love that. Do you guys ever get nervous meeting people anymore?
Let me tell you that I just mentioned this to these guys the other night when you introduced me to Neil Schoen. That was the first time I think in 30 years I've been starstruck that much. I couldn't believe I was shaking that man's hand.
The weird thing about that, it was completely unexpected.
Yeah.
Like we're just standing there and I go, oh, here's Neil Schoen.
I couldn't.
Goes, what?
Still can't believe it.
Yeah, that's. But here's the thing. I think you guys. I think we're living in opposite worlds where you guys have all the biggest sports people in, and you're not fazed by that. But if somebody outside your world pops in, then you get.
That's how I feel exactly, right? It kind of desensitized to the sports, but like when we had Will Smith in here, it seemed like it was insane. That was a long time ago.
Whoa, when did Will?
10 years ago?
Okay.
When he was doing 9 pounds.
I was going to say pre-slap.
Pre-slap.
Oh, yeah, long
way
pre-slap.
He was super nice.
He was promoting what turned out to be a pretty lousy movie.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Hawk loved it.
I think it's a great film. It's 9 pounds. I think
7 pounds.
It's 7
He didn't
pounds.
like it.
It gained
Hawk loved it.
It lost weight.
Yeah.
I didn't even heard of that movie. Well, I'm the same.
That's why.
I'm the same way about athletes. If I go to the Super Bowl every year and I interview the players every year at the Super Bowl, and I get nervous about being around athletes. I've done Shaquille O'Neal's podcast a few times, and I get super nervous about being around him. And he's
a huge man.
Does Mark Parrish intimidate you? He's sitting back behind you, looking at the back of your head.
I genuinely was excited to meet him. The first time I came in, I was like, dude, I got his phone number, and he was like, yeah, I want to come to the show. And I texted him, I go, hey, anytime you want to come down. And I haven't heard from him since. So
that's Parrish.
That
He was napping.
Yeah.
That's his MO.
Yeah, Shaq,
I'm back in now, though.
It's funny that Shaq, what is he, 7 foot?
1 or 2, something like that.
Big man.
Monster.
And the first time I met him, I said, what is the dumbest question that people ask you as Shaquille O'Neal? And he said, am I Shaquille O'Neal? And I said, really? People ask you that? What do you say? And he goes, I say, nope. I said, you are the only person in the room who's 8 feet tall, and you say you're not Shaquille. What do you tell me people your name is? He said, I tell them my name's Tony, but I get that all the time. I was like, really?
I love that.
By the way, the first time I met him, he flew me out to Atlanta to do his podcast, and when I walked up to get started, I said, I go, dude, I'm so excited to hang out. I feel like we're going to be friends. I just feel like we're going to hit it off. I was actually last night when I flew out, I stopped at the Comedy Store, and Adam Sandler was on stage. He did a joke about you, and I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to work with that guy. And he goes, what's the joke? And I go, oh, I don't think I should tell you that. And he goes, what's the joke? And I was like, well, according to Adam, apparently, I didn't know that you guys did a movie together. I guess you were in Grown Ups too. And Adam did this joke where he said that during a break in filming, you were like, I'm going to take a shower. And so Adam was like, and that was my chance. I said,
I'm gonna go watch them in the shower so I can get a look at that penis. And, it's not gay. It's not gay. I want to be able to tell my kids, hey, your dad saw something amazing once. So he describes the story about how he because they were filming on a campus for a university, and so there's these dorm showers, and he pops into the dorm showers, and then he can hear the shower running, and then all of a sudden Shaq's bodyguard pops up, and Shaq's bodyguard is even bigger than Shaq. He's this big bald dude, and he's looking at him. He's like, oh man, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place, and he walks out. And he's like, oh, man, now I'm going to have to tell Shaq what I was doing. This is really embarrassing. And Shaq comes back out to the set, and Sandler goes, man, I'm really sorry. I know your bodyguard probably told you that. And he goes, well, I don't have a bodyguard. And I go, yeah, the big bald guy. And he goes, nope, that was my penis. Yeah, dude. That dude has, every time I do his show, he'll go, because I've done his podcast 3 times now. And he'll, as soon as I walk in, he's like, before we get started, I want you to call some friends. And he'll start having me call I have prank called my personal favorite basketball player of all time, Charles Barkley, so many times and said awful things to him. And I remember the first time I called him, I go, what do you want me to say to him? And Shaq said, he loves Al Pacino, who had just done the movie about the Penn State football coach. What was the
Paterno? Yeah.
And so Shaq goes, he goes, hey, I'm talking to Al Pacino, and I go, hi, Charles. I heard you like movies about little peckers. Is that what you're into? And he goes, what? You like peckers? Hoo-ah. And then we just hung up on him. And I was like, I felt terrible about that. I said, man, that's my favorite basketball player. He goes, Charles Barkley is your favorite basketball? And I go, yeah, I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. Right. And Shaq goes, I played for the Phoenix Suns. And I was like, oh, yeah, you did.
I remember that.
You did?
Yeah, he did.
Year,
for a second. And dude, later that day, I realized in that conversation, I was like, oh, I looked like a total jerk when I said, oh, yeah. Like he wanted me to stop and go, oh, yeah, you're my favorite.
Yeah.
But instead I went, oh, yeah, you did. And that was it.
Afterthought.
Do you find that people that have come in to do the show have thin skin?
We've had one. We've had one or two. Right?
The only one that was really difficult with us was Topher Grace.
Topher Grace.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, yeah, that was the worst.
He just was in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Just the wrong day, wrong time. Again, I have no idea if he's a nice guy away from here, but he just didn't seem to want to be here.
Yeah.
Topher Grace was actually in the studio promoting a movie?
Yep, it was that 80s movie. What was it called?
Take
Me Home Tonight?
Yeah.
That's it, dude. Good
It's
call.
rare.
Yeah, that's exactly right, yeah.
And you were like super complimentary. Didn't you tell him you thought he'd win an Oscar?
Yeah, he didn't like that. Like a long time ago, I made a bet against Hawk and superstar Mike Morris. I'm like, I think Topher Grace is winning an Oscar at some point. And one of the first things I said to him when he sat down was, dude, I got to bet on you. I got to bet that at some point in your career, you're going to win an Oscar. And I kind of said, like, what's taking so long? Hurry up. So, but I was complimenting him, like, I think you're good enough to win, but what's taking you so long?
Right.
And for whatever reason, he didn't even like the backhanded compliment of, I think you're talented. He didn't like the what's taking so long aspect
My favorite part of that story, dude.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite party by a mile. Craig, this is... So we had a guy on the show, Superstar Mike. You remember Superstar? You came in once when he was here. You played for the Vikings for forever and in the NFL for 14 years. So there was a guy, I don't remember the guy's last name. I should. He was a comedian. He was an actor. He was going to play Sam Kinison in a movie named Dan.
Dan.
It's funny that we can't. Yes, exactly.
That's it. Okay, that's it. Okay, so this is the best.
It's funny that we couldn't remember his last name because that's the story.
Exactly. Star's the host. He's sitting in the big chair and he's reintroducing everybody. Hey, everybody, we got in the studio. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Topher Grace and Dan.
Remember, it was Nick Thune.
Yeah. That's right. It was Nick Thune.
Nick Thune and Topher Grace knew each other somehow, and I'm a huge Nick Thune fan too. So Nick was in for a while, and he was awesome. And then Topher and Dan come in, so it was the three of them.
And Dan.
And so Star just goes, hey, thanks to Nick Thune, that was awesome. Nick Thune and Topher Grace, and And Dan.
And Topher went crazy.
Topher lit Star up because it was obvious.
You remember his name?
Oh, yeah.
You can't even remember his name?
Topher did not think it was funny that basically Dan got dismissed as like the third piece,
And
right?
Dan.
And Topher just lit him up.
I forgot about
So that was the end of the show. So again, he was in a bad mood when it started. Kind of just powered his way through it, and then the end of it, he just was furious that we forgot Fogler's name and just lost his mind.
And
you got to know for the longest time we all
Dan.
would say to Star.
Oh, yeah.
And Dan.
Oh, yeah.
And Dan.
That's been an inside joke for what, 10 years?
Forever, yeah.
And
That movie-
and Dan.
That movie came out in.
Oh, man.
It's got to be 11-ish.
Yeah,
2010,
Sorry,
maybe
I just
9.
had it.
Somewhere
Hard
in
to
that
get that
range.
mad at a guy that big.
That big,
as
that's
as
how big.
Mike Morris.
Yeah, right.
2011.
2011, Topher was pissed.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's a common thing
And
with
Dan.
at comedy shows. The host will clearly forget a name. I remember seeing Pablo Francisco, who was
that guy.
he was really overdoing it
man.
one night, and they asked him to host, and I'm like, Pablo's not a host, man. That's a headliner, and he went up on stage. All right, what's up? Yeah, Pablo Francisco. Yeah, Scooby Doo, and he was and he was really jacked up, and he goes, all right, you guys ready for the first comedian? Yeah, please welcome this guy. I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, yeah, he totally spaced the first and last name of the first comedian that was coming up. Dude, did I ever tell you about that guy who was the host of a theater show that I did who had never done stand-up comedy ever in his life? I did a show in Vegas at the House of Blues, 1,400 seats. I'm opening for Norm Macdonald. And I'm sitting on the side of the stage waiting for the show to start, and the host comes over and he goes, "Are you Craig?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "What do you want me to say about you?" And I go, just Family Guy, Howard Stern." He's like, "Okay, cool. I'm nervous." And I go, "Yeah, it's a big crowd, man." And he goes, "Yeah, it's my first time." And I go, "First time in front of a big crowd?" And he goes, "No, it's my first time ever doing stand-up." And I go, well,
Yeah.
"How'd you get on this gig?" And he goes, "I work here. I'm a bartender. I love stand-up. I've always wanted to do stand-up." And we get the schedules like 6 months ahead of time, and I'm the biggest Norm Macdonald fan on the planet. So when the schedule came out, I was like, oh man, I just campaigned to the managers, like, let me host. And like, there's a bunch of guys out front that work here. They took the night off. They're here to support me. And I said, but you haven't gone to like an open mic to rehearse? And he goes, "No, this is it."
Oh God.
And he walked out on stage and just ate his nuts. It was so like he walked out and he total silence. He even did this a painful thing where when he'd get to a punchline, he would physically lean in and there'd be nothing there.
Oh my God.
And he started to stammer, and you can see sweat starting to build in his
The Albert
pits.
Brooks sweat.
Right.
It's only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then at some point he goes, maybe you had to be there. And in the silence, all the way up in the upper balcony, some guy goes, "Maybe you're not funny." And then for the first time of the evening, the whole place exploded with laughter. And I didn't even realize that he was standing behind me, but Norm Macdonald tapped me on the shoulder and he goes, "Man, I feel bad for this guy. Hey, don't make fun of him. Don't make fun of him when you get out there." And I was like, all right. And then they go, "All right, you ready for your next comedian? Please welcome Craig Gass." And I walked out on stage and I was like, "Thank you." And I looked at the crowd and went, all right. I had to do something.
You
got to acknowledge
him.
You have to acknowledge that and make a transition. That is so rough to follow that. You guys do events where you have to have you ever had to announce bands in front of
Yeah, but not directly. The 15-minute bit, right? Like, hey, coming up in a little bit, Disturbed.
That's it.
And then we go off stage, and then 15 minutes later they come on. So it's not, they don't walk out right when we introduce them.
Have you ever been
did that
booed
once.
because you're making announcements? Anybody ever boo you?
No, I think they just hate us in general.
They're not paying attention.
No.
I love
really.
that story that you guys actually get teased when you're out in public.
Constantly.
People give you a hard time.
Especially meat sauce.
Yeah,
he gets it a lot.
Well, you have a freakish head. Since we have like a minute and a half left, and this is sponsored quickly.
Now it's time for Headlines.
Headlines brought to you by Wolf River Electric. Maybe you guys saw it on social
saw your
media.
picture.
The panels are up, man. I got the solar panels put on thanks to my awesome friends at Wolf River Electric. So, yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Now, Rosie, I'm officially now the most environmentally friendly person here at the fan. I
really
had you
are.
crushed. I'm an environmentalist thanks to Wolf River Electric.
Well,
Solar powered.
Well, that's a woman's viewpoint.
Wow, Rosie.
Well, that's
uncalled for, Rosie.
Greg, let me throw this at you as we wrap up because we have like 45 seconds left.
Cinemagrill.com.
How about this?
Comedy show this week, cinemagrill.com, tonight through Saturday night, cinemagrill.com.
Jake Paul's going to make $40 million to fight Mike Tyson. So...
when is that happening?
Why don't you just get into boxing,
It got canceled
Greg? Come
once
on, man.
before, right?
Yeah, it's been canceled.
Jake Paul says he's making $40 million to fight Mike Tyson. All right, so
that's a
Craig
joke.
Gass, between tonight and Saturday, 6 different shows.
And Kiss.
I
liked it the first time.
That's right. I liked it the first time when it was called Beth.
That's the best bit of all
If you
time.
want to see stand-up comedy, go to cinemagrill.com. But for an extra $1,000, go to kissonline.com and you'll leave in a kiss casket.
Sauce, do your Lars to Craig.
Yeah, do it.
I can.
No, come on.
Come on. This is your moment.
Dan.
My name's Lars. I'm in Metallica.
That's actually not bad.
That's not bad. That's
Thank
his
you.
best impression.
All you got to do is just add a sniffle. That's it. And then you're halfway there. It's like I could teach you how to do. I taught you guys how to do a terrible Mark Wahlberg impression, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right,
Just
yeah.
heavy breathing and a few words. Guys, are you serious?
That's it. Thanks to Mark Rosen and Mark Parrish, to Chris Hockey, to Meat Sauce Paul Lambert, and Craig. Craig Gass. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
5:30 to 9 tomorrow. We're back. 9 to noon is next on the fan.
Everybody have a wonderful day.
KFAN Total Traffic.
From the Quick Trip Traffic Center, here.
Internet that's everything you imagine, and then some. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Sign up today and get internet with a price for life. Keep your internet service monthly rate for as long as you keep your plan. Internet service monthly rate subject to continued plan availability.
The color orange can